We'll go ahead and get started. I take it everybody's here to watch the Mexico-Brazil game? Is that what we're all here for? Okay. Since we are not, unfortunately, we're going to do our best to get through the meeting so I can catch the second half. Okay, so with that, the first order of business will be the minutes from our last board meeting back on May 20th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Minutes are approved. On to the next order of business, resolution number 30232.
Yes, Commissioners, you have before you a memo from Shannon Dooley, Special Events and Marketing, for a proposed Soul Food Festival for 2014 that would occur in the Parade Park area in August of this year. The memo outlines the details of the event, and also see we have a guest with us, Jeff Bird, and questions should be directed toward Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. McHenry. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
One-day event in Parade Park. We are requesting that Greg Kleiss do close a little early that day to accommodate this event. But this is a soul food festival. It has happened in Parade Park before. It's gone away, but then it's come back. So Mr. Bird is here to answer any questions for you.
Please.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Chuck. Be glad to answer any questions in regards to the festival. This is our 8th year here in Kansas City, our 5th year at Parade Park. We have gone to other venues around the city, but Parade Park tends to have a better site for the attendance from the general public. So we're happy to be back at Parade Park and have Park and Rec as one of our sponsors this year. And so be happy to answer any questions. This is a one-day event, as Shannon has stated, with the aroma of good music, good fun, and we're excited to be back at Parade Park this year.
Fantastic.
Who are you looking at entertainment-wise?
This year, R&B artist headliner is going to be Bootsy,
Hey.
SOS
Oh,
Band,
well, there you go.
SOS Band, Morris Day and the Time,
Morris Day and the Time.
Shantae Moore,
Uh-huh.
and who else is it? Mint Condition. So we have
All
six.
right. There you go.
This year?
groups this year.
Oh,
Mint
okay.
condition. All right.
Yeah.
My wife would be
Sounds
happy about
great.
that one.
Right.
So Bootsy hasn't been out touring for the last 12 years, and so we're excited to have him come back to Kansas City. So
Fantastic.
How many people do you expect?
roughly about 10,000 given good weather.
That's great.
And I can say that over our 5 years being at Parade Park, been very fortunate not to have any major incidents. I think a couple of years ago we had an incident where we had someone that tried to climb the fence, which was kind of out of our control. But the crowd that we attract is a 40 and up crowd, and they're just there to have a good time and fellowship. You find a lot of attendees that do this event for as far as class reunions and family reunions, so it's a good time for everybody that's in attendance.
Fantastic.
Great.
Best of luck.
Yeah, that's
Thank
all
you.
I got. And may you have good weather.
Right.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution? The license?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30233.
Yes, Commissioners, another item that Shannon Dooley is handling. This is the annual Waddell and Reed Kansas City Marathon, along with Ivy funds. This is scheduled for October 18th of 2014. Again, you have a memo in your packet outlining the details with this, and see Sarah Dees in the audience. And go ahead, Shannon.
That about says it all. Sarah D., come on up here. One-day event, Kansas City Marathon, growing to be one of the most popular marathons in the country.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Sarah D. with the Sports Commission.
Thank you. Yes. Third Saturday in October, typically, October 18th this year. Last year we had over 12,000 participants. This year we're projecting about 14,000 participants, which brings about another 10 to 15,000 spectators down to the Washington Park area, which we appreciate all the work that's been done in that park. So some things that we hope to improve upon from previous years, some of the cleanup, not only in the park but along the course as well. And we've been working with the Av Energy Group and the race permitting process and collaborating with them. So that's been a good experience as well.
Very good.
Is the route the same?
It will be very similar. The downtown construction is A little bit tentative right now, so miles 0 to 3 are still very much not confirmed.
Okay. You gonna be ready to go
So
by then?
outside of that, the route should stay the same.
I was gonna try to do the half. Okay.
You should do that, absolutely.
How long is the kids marathon?
The kids marathon is only 1.1 miles on race day. They work up to the 26.2 in their program, so.
And do you keep track of where everybody comes from? I'm curious how many people come
We-
from outside of the area.
We do. Ironically, this event is about 64% local, which is within about 40-mile radius, maybe even 50-mile radius, depending on the zip codes. But
35 years.
yeah, so, but in the last 2 years, that ratio has decreased a little bit because we've been doing a better job of regionally being represented in different marathon markets. We've been to Austin this year. We're going to go to Duluth this year. We kind of changed that up a little bit. So we've really been trying to spread our wings a little bit further regionally, and hopefully we've been to Lincoln this year. So we hope to expand that.
When's Chicago? Do we pick up some people that don't get into Chicago?
We might. Chicago is right around our weekend, either the weekend before or the weekend after. The other event, the other marathon that's on our same weekend is Des Moines. And so depending on, that's not nearly as big as ours yet, but Chicago does tend to be. And then there's another one. St. Louis has a rock and roll marathon but after its first year, we haven't really competed with that one.
What sets our marathon apart from others?
Sure. Well, one, we tout ourselves as a very community-friendly, community-driven event. And so from the locals, and why 64% of them are participating is because it's very community-friendly, and we try to get the community behind us as much as we can. The other thing is, there's a lot of people in the country that want to hit a marathon in every state. And so there's really only one other marathon that's a significant marathon in Missouri, and that's in St. Louis. So we're the only one in the fall that's really significant. So.
That's smart, makes sense. That's great. Okay. Any other questions? All right, with that, is there a motion to approve the resolution for the race?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution number 30234 regarding the water fire.
Yes, Commissioners, another premier event that's scheduled for October of this year, the annual water fire on Brush Creek. And Shannon, tell us about it.
The weekend before the marathon, in October, down on Brush Creek in the Country Club Plaza, we will have water fire again. Mark Edelman is here with the Theater League to kind of give you some interesting facts. It's going to become a two-night event this year. So, Mark?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm here with Chris McCoy, who is going to be running the program for us, and Karen Holland, who you all know is the founder of Waterfire Kansas City. Now in its 8th year, Waterfire has been principally a visual arts event. Barnaby Evans' iconic braziers floating in Brush Creek. Now they're all over the world, but Kansas City and Providence were the first two. Because all these folks are downtown or on the plaza and enjoying the evening, it's become also a performing arts event, and with 2014, it's our intention to expand that to become a showcase for Kansas City's performing arts organizations, almost all of whom begin their season in the fall and continue to the spring. To my mind, this might be the first time that musical theater, jazz, Broadway, rock and roll, classical music, music from different countries around the world, dance, folk music will be combined in a single performing arts event, which will be the audio component that accompanies Barnaby Evans' iconic Waterfire Braziers. It'll run on October 10th and 11th, and I believe actually the note on your agenda said 11th and 12th. It's 10th and 11th. The 12th Sunday is a rain date as an alternative. But on Friday, October 10th, we'll begin it with the usual lighting of the braziers. Our organization, Theater League, produces and presents a public radio show called 12th Street Jump that's broadcast over 97 public radio stations around the country that honors Kansas City Jazz. We'll do a live recording that evening of that show from Waterfire, so it'll go out to tens of thousands of people on top of the people who attend. All of the Broadway companies that produce musical theater will come together for a showcase of their work. On Saturday at noon, we'll have a program of dance where different dance professionals will teach dance actually to the assembled multitudes there on Ward Parkway between Broadway and between Warnell and Broadway, or J.C. Nichols Parkway on the plaza. A folk festival curated by the Folk Alliance will follow, and then Saturday night is a program where Kansas City performers celebrate the music of other countries. We've already engaged the Sons of Brazil, Bo Bledsoe, who is well known for his flamenco programs, Tours Sevilla, several other ensembles, to again create a showcase for all of the performing arts in Kansas City astride this iconic visual arts program. Hopefully this will not only represent interest to Kansas City patrons, but also regional patrons of the arts. We will be promoting it not only here in town, but also within a 190-mile radius.
Sounds fantastic.
It does. It sounds great. And we appreciate the leadership of Theater League for taking this on and continuing the tradition of this event.
Well, we're excited about it. Again, it does represent kind of a unique opportunity for all of the performing arts groups to share one stage and to introduce their upcoming seasons to this hopefully large audience.
Fantastic. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution for Waterfire?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30235.
Yes, Commissioners, this is considering a resolution to support the Roanoke Park Master Plan. I know we have guests, but first I'm going to turn it over to Heather Runkle, who is managing the project for us.
Thanks, Mark. Well, good afternoon. We have 6 members from the Roanoke Park Conservancy here with us today. We have Kurt Watkins, Gavin Snyder, Rachel Porter, Scott Burnett, Randy Moore, and Pete Brown. They are going to give a quick update on what the recent improvements have been in the park, and then we also have a model they would like to show, so I'll turn it over to Kurt.
Thank you, Heather. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
You know, since we normally are looking for any ragged segue to insinuate our conversation into anybody's conversation about our passion for Roanoke Park, we really appreciate this invitation to get to talk about what we like to talk about most, to bring you an update of where we are in the collaboration that was formed in 2010 between our Roanoke Park volunteers at the time, Sensa Conservancy, and the Parks Commission. We wanted to bring you briefly up to date on the things that have been put into place and caught up, but more importantly, what our next steps are as we move towards the conclusion of our first 5-year master plan. The title of this topic is the progress of the partnership that we've enjoyed, and it's brought to you by my colleagues who've accompanied me here and all the volunteers who work among the brush and the honeysuckle in the park, and as I'll point out, an expanding group of partner organizations that have been drawn to our project. Basically, we ask you to look at what this public-private collaboration has achieved and what it is beginning to attract. We see the tempo increasing with people participating and with ideas forthcoming, and particularly the creative thinking that is generating as more and more people get involved and want to participate in the park. This began, we're in our 5th summer, and before the master plan, this was pretty much our view. It was from the weeds, if you will, and we were buried in the honeysuckle, and that was a representative picture of what went on for almost the first year and a half. At this point in time, a big difference is that you can see into and through many parts of the park because it's been cleared of the honeysuckle. And since the master plan, which featured the first thing was connectivity, getting people into and around and through the park. New sidewalks have been poured and new staircases in place. This fall, through the private donations been made, that staircase is going to be further landscaped. Last week, just last week, Brett Schofter, the trail steward who oversaw the development of the trails in Roanoke Park, announced that the trail system, a little over 2 miles, has been completed. It's been in use. It's probably one of the greatest amenities that we have in the park. We're within hours, I believe, of turning on new pedestrian lights in the park, which are installed. And furthermore, you will soon see the bluff at the base of Roanoke Road illuminated. This is a picture from the demonstration that we had a year and a half ago. Mark Grant, and you all helped us with, specifically Bill Fessler. In 2012, we volunteers developed this, and now the bioswale is well developed, is growing, is a great demonstration piece, and it's been outfitted with an educational sign. The sports district has recently been amended and upgraded considerably with the addition of, through your program, with the addition of a new volleyball court and replace the old steel rusty bleachers with some wonderful slabs of limestone set in the hillside to make a natural bleacher setting. We have presented previously to you our ecological restoration master plan that's been coming along as we were clearing the honeysuckle. We wanted to reforest and replant. It was guided by some historical information we found that the park would be, the restoration would be respective as a bit of wilderness mentioned in the 1907 archives, and also a preservation of wooded ravines. This is lined out in great detail, as you can see from the map. I'm going to spare you that at the moment. But I have to tell you that this is on hold because we have learned that we need some water in the park to make this work. We have planted over 350 trees, heartbreak, because part of it was in the drought, and it just isn't working. So we need to make arrangements to get our access to some irrigation, or not irrigation, spigots for hoses will suffice quite nicely to start us. And the other thing that stands between us and the completion of this is probably $1 million, but that's down the road. However, we have done a plant recently. We call this RPC Conservancy Director Bob Ellis's plot, meaning not only a planted plot but also a scheme that he's come up with. And he found a small area that's manageable. He planned a project, arranged for the site to be prepared, funded it himself to buy plants, acquired the plants, and rounded up us to plant that. And the big part of this, it's about water. If we need it. We haven't needed it so far this spring, but should we need it, it's in this new genre of the planning model. So we're, rather than trying to sweep through the park, we're starting to pick areas and take them from start to finish as a restored park. Last week, representatives attended a meeting to hear about the offer being made by Heather Lowenstein of the Stone Lion Theater to place some art in the park on a temporary basis, to also to promote the art classes that are going on through the Roanoke Community Center at this point in time. And we're intrigued by it for exploring the possibilities, because on our agenda for some time has been the idea that art should be incorporated in the park. And if nothing else, we know that this will happen with this piece of art. Let's stir the conversation. In the spring, we were awarded a grant from the Missouri Department of Conservation to develop what we call the Coleman Highland Springs area. It's a spring that has run continuously ever since we've been working in the park. We have already raised our part of the match with an event that we held for an annual update at Prospero's bookstore in the spring. And a fun thing that happens often in the park, and it happened this time, while we were in there getting this information together for our grant application, we made a discovery of what turns out to be a champion persimmon tree that is 84 feet tall. You can't quite see the bark, but it has very unusual bark, and it's a standout, and it's the champion of the region. And the region is substantial. We don't know its confines, but it runs right up to the edge of that 86-foot persimmon tree, or wherever that may be. So our tree was discovered. Next weekend, we have a great surprise that we're going to be unveiling, and this is the progress as of last night while we were talking about another playground in our master plan. Happily, and we're so grateful that the Parks Department came forth and made arrangements for us to have a brand new playground installed, and it is going to be opened at the Boker side of Roanoke Park this weekend. The ceremony begins, the ribbon cutting begins at 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. You're invited to be among the first down the slide. You've heard about these before, but in recent events, the mayor has given us some recognition for our work in the park. I mentioned the Missouri Department of Conservation grant, and we have received our third distribution from the PIAC funds in May of this year. So that's a helpful support. And I was talking about what this has attracted since we began. We have new corporate collaborations in the firm of Confluence, who consulted with us about lighting concepts for the park, also updated our master planning. More recently, Huff Projects has really gotten involved, so involved they've moved their offices into our park. So they are right there, and they have, on a pro bono basis, been giving us design time. They constructed this model that we brought with us, more about that in a moment, and they also provide office space for our Roanoke Park Conservancy meetings, so we're feeling very real and official. We have our monthly meetings there, and as a result of Huff's wide-reaching projects, they knew some people in the landscape business, namely Phronesis, a fairly new firm in Kansas City, but interesting because it was spawned from the Brad Pitt Make It Right Foundation in New Orleans, and its founder, its principal, Tim Dugan, is just back to Kansas City after 4 years in New Orleans having these experiences. He likewise is donating time for us in the concept at this point, and only yesterday we got a phone call arranged by, or Scott Burnett got the phone call that Black and Veatch wants to get in on the plan and the program, and they have offered their water people, their hydrologists, to consult and work with us on that Coleman Spring project, so we find out the full magnitude of that and how we can maximize that. So those are new players, and then next coming up in the playground is, I want to give you some broad brush strokes of what we call the Carnes Playground, the one that we were planning and not the one being surprised by Volker. But we started this investigation with the success of the original charrette that drove our first master plan. We convened another charrette. It was organized by our co-chairs Rachel Porter and Lindsay Severance, who head up our Play Experience Task Force. Rachel's with us today. We met in the winter. The park was dormant, but we used that as a good time to meet and gather our ideas. Over 50 people came to this meeting, including dignitaries, Director McHenry, Jim Glover, Heather's in that picture somewhere, Forrester in there somewhere, that participated with us in this dividing up into groups of 4 teams to let the people speak, the collective wisdom of the participants. And Gavin, who's with us today, and his partner at Huff, Dan Brown, facilitated the charrette. So it was very well done. And here's what came out of the charrette. In this featured report, Gavin and his team of 5 other designers with himself at Huff and Phronesis created this word cloud that reflects in a picture the discussion of that all-day charrette. And the bigger the font, the bigger the word, the more frequently it was mentioned, the greater import it has. So you can see park, natural, for the kids, play, water, seating, nature, etc. So this was the guiding point, and the conversation that has ensued from this. First, we were sent off with the admonition that there was an overwhelming desire to encourage social and imaginative play in a natural setting, and not just to unbox new play structures that come from the catalog, while it may incorporate some of those. So as we proceed on this palette, if I may take you quickly and briefly through the palette of the map in the broadest of brushstrokes, and it gives you the benefit of our thinking at the moment. It is not completely gelled. The Carnes play area, and this model is to facilitate these discussions, that we sit around this 3D model and consider this for 2D thinkers like myself and others. It's a great help, and Gavin made arrangements for it to have this model to sit around and converse about, and it's led to some great ideas and is a major tool of the whole project. This is the Carnes Playground area right below the new hospice on Southwest Boulevard. And at the present time, there are meetings. I think we've had 5 meetings involving Heather from Parks, Rachel and Lindsay, our co-chair task force, and Gavin and Dan and the Huff team and the Phronesis team. And these are the things that are being discussed. Here's the overall big idea for the development of the play experience, we're calling it, at the Carnes Playground site. We are thinking of Roanoke Park as a field guide being designed to help the observer learn about and identify objects of natural occurrence. And we think we have a natural setting to achieve this in a distinctive and a unique way, because the elements of Roanoke Park can do the very same things as a real-life field guide. Huft and Phronesis did a detailed analysis of the social and natural systems that are already on the site. Furthermore, they, being aware of water development plans, talked about incorporating cairns with some improvements as a green area, and also to get some traffic calming in that area. And we felt, since it involves water and overflow control plan, it might be an opportunity for the Water Services Department to come in as a participant on our project. Basically, we observe in our field guide that we have lots of natural conditions. The cliffs, the caves, the trees already exist there. A few times this spring we had rivers in the park. More symbolically, we see some connection between the Roanoke Park drainage basin and the way it fits into the Kansas and Missouri rivers. And because I think the thing that makes this perhaps the most unique is that in Roanoke Park, there's a microsystem of a great variety of these things in a manageable scale that makes it very doable. And if you were to undertake something of this sort on maybe in Swope Park that has the same things, it might just be overwhelming, the scope of it. But this is a microcosm of these things that are going on. We believe it has the potential for putting us on the map, if you will, in terms of the Roanoke Park, our public-private enterprise that's accomplished this, and likewise the Kansas City Parks to add to their already illustrious reputation. So with that, briefly, we observe that we have wooded, hilly areas, we have rocky areas, we have wet areas, we have treed areas, we have flat areas, we have open areas, and also some puddling in streams and rivers and moisture as a result of several springs that run in the park. And those comprise briefly of, we have uplands, a herbaceous area, and we see developing these areas in a natural fashion and enhancing them, where some mounds are added to this area, some recycled trees are added into the lowland area, and some sense of water can be developed to tie that into this microcosm idea. Briefly, the upland area would feature things like climbing around amphitheater seating that would be built or added to the natural landscape. In the herbaceous area, some site work for building mounds, perhaps adding some of these fixtures. And I would point out that in any area in the park where we see that manufactured play equipment is indicated, we would definitely need the help of the Parks Department to make sure that we got the appropriate things that are durable, that are compliant, and that are easy to take care of. So most of this, however, is natural, but with hillside slides being something that's been called about. Then in the lowlands, from trees, shade, shelter, even a sand deposit in this area, the natural recycled use of the trees is contemplated, and that plays to these things in the charrette. And lastly, the water features that initially are probably going to be some small puddles that accumulate, but in time it could be augmented with some made water features. And one of the observations that's been made here is the park, and there's how it drains in the Missouri and Kansas River. And it has been observed that the confluence of Madison and Bellevue and Cairns in that park is symbolic and somewhat represents the confluence of the river. So we see a tie-in to build on there. So this is a site, there's the hospice on top. This is the overall cross-section of the site that's contemplated with the upland, the herbaceous, the lowland, and the river experience, play, educational experience through that Cairns playground area. So in conclusion, we just observed that however much we clear, whatever we clear in the park, or restore, or add to the park, we think the park shows best when it's heavily populated, and that is becoming more and more the case. When people come in there, and it's to this end, population in the park, that we continue this endeavor that we started in 2010. So stay tuned, if you will. Thanks for this audience, and we thank you for this time today, and especially for the continuing support and encouragement we get from all of you. So with that, if there are questions, we'd be glad to entertain them, and I hope the second half hadn't started yet.
No, it's all right.
Get a really good day to see soccer.
No,
All
I wanted you to say something because I know
He
did a
knows
great
what
job.
he knows what I'm going to say.
I do.
We're getting more and more parks in this city where the neighborhoods have taken ownership. And these partnerships and these ownerships create things that we could never do on our own. And you'll never know how greatly we appreciate the hard work, the thought, and the actual love of the property and the land that you guys have put into it. It's nothing that a government can do. It takes citizen involvement to do it. And we're deeply in gratitude to your group for that. And you're greatly appreciated.
Very much so.
Thank you very much. We, too, feel the discovery as we go on in this process and things that we hadn't thought of, things that we didn't know could be realized, surprises we get, like Parks shows up with that new playground. So, I mean, it's kind of an ongoing public-private love fest as far as we're concerned on how the park is developed. Thank you, Mr. McClure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Thanks, Kurt.
Very grateful.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for your time.
Is there,
I would just add that we support the approval of the master plan.
okay. And with that, so recommended, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Recommendations. There's motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. We're going to flip the order really quick. I'm going to bring up resolution number 30242 regarding the cooperative agreement with Liberty Memorial Association.
Yes, Commissioners, you have before you a memo
Madam
from
Chair.
Travis, and I know Dr. Matt Naylor and his team is here from the National War I Museum, Liberty Memorial, and this is for a agreement with the association to do the work from Electrosonic. Jimmy Lossing is our project manager.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jimmy and the team from the LMA, I know Commissioner Mary Jane Judy is chairing our design review committee and our building and grounds group over at the Liberty Memorial. And so anyway, those are all the folks involved. Recommend approval.
Go ahead.
Hi, Commissioners. The TV is on upstairs.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So you can just go
All
up the
right.
stairs
Yeah, we'll
into
get
our
there.
conference room. So, again, this is a cooperative agreement that we would enter into with Liberty Memorial Association. They would contract with Electric Sonic to address the audiovisual equipment replacement and upgrades at the museum. These are improvements that were identified in the audiovisual inventory and assessment project that occurred last year. And again, it is addressing orientation theater, the portrait wall, issues table, the auditorium lobby, the auditorium mural display, just basically every aspect of, if there's an audio-visual, there's a monitor, we're going to be touching it. Today I have Director Naylor and also Vice President of Facilities Patrick Raymond here. And if you need, but if you have any questions, let us know.
Are there any questions about this? I think this is something we've discussed in the past. It's pretty straightforward. Any questions, thoughts? No? Okay.
No.
With that, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right,
Very good.
thank you
Resolution
very much.
passes. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get back into the order. We were at resolution number 30236 regarding the Soccer Village Art project.
Yes,
And Porter's here.
Porter Arneal, Porter, who heads up the Municipal Art Commission, is handling this project for us, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
Brazil, Mexico, 0-0.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good looking out.
Little packet here.
So far, so good.
Thanks.
Yes. No, we can.
And
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
so thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to come and present on behalf of our artist, Jake Balcom. And as Mark said, I'm the director of the Public Art Program for the Kansas City Municipal Art Commission office. And the Swope Park Soccer Village, because of the, I believe, two existing concession facilities and the renovation work on those, generated 1% for art, because the 1% is only on city buildings. And that was in an amount of about $14,000. We have executed our very methodical selection panel process to find an artist who could do this work. And Jake Balcom, who is a local artist, was the artist selected by the selection panel. That included Dave Ficklin of Sporting KC, Heather Runkle, Alicia Ryan, who is one of the young women who will be playing soccer on this field, who was recommended to us by Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Circo, Carrie Tyndall from the city manager's office. Travis helped us out too. Julie Wellner, who's the architect who's working on the project, and Nia Webster Richardson, who's on the Municipal Art Commission. All work together actually very expeditiously, happily, because this project, as you all know, is moving very quickly. And Jake is engaged, and let me walk you through his proposal quickly. If you did not know, the mathematical interpretation of a soccer ball is called a truncated icosahedron. And so Jake has taken that mathematical concept and expanded it basically from the soccer ball itself, but then, as you can see from his proposal, taken it to another length where he's added to those pentagram shapes and moved it into different directions. Does all that make sense so far? And ultimately, on the concept page, you can see he's basically taken, so one is still your soccer ball conceptually, but then each one expands out into different shapes. So it's really a very simple but scientific approach to constructing and deconstructing a soccer ball effectively. So he's taken that simple concept and he plans to reinterpret 3 versions of that onto steel posts that will be mounted in a row, and you can see that on page, whoops, the design page, I don't have numbers on this. Now initially, while we were working with Dave Ficklin and the group to determine where best to position these, we thought they could go on the plaza, and actually if you go one more page in your packet, you'll see a map of the entire site in green that says location. It's a map that we've been using for notation, so it's not crystal clear, but basically you can see the Champion soccer field is the one in the middle on the left, and then you see the row of soccer fields. We're focused on those 4 soccer fields that are together down on the lower site. And because of the scale of the site, and I don't know if you've all been there, but the lighting out there are just massive structures. So we don't want to have the art just sort of fade into the background. So we love the idea of positioning the art near the architectural element because it'll give us a kind of a sense of human scale. Unfortunately, the plaza didn't work out as well as we thought because they are going to be planting trees that would be competing with the artwork. But I'm happy to report that we went out this morning, and the crazy map that I handed you was Jake trying to determine other sites. But ultimately, Dave Ficklin, Jake, and I walked the site this morning, and we determined that just, I believe, north of that concession structure, you can see number 5. Poor Jake, he did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we had to make a new one, so we added 5. But basically, you can see the idea now is that he can put his structures right at the curvature of the plaza. So it won't be on the plaza because there was concern about the metal rusting, which is going to be done intentionally. The posts will rust, but they will be a thick post, so we know that they're going to last a good long time, and we like the idea of the natural rust on the outside of this underneath those aluminum structures. But they will be in the grass and landscaped areas, so they won't hurt the plaza and stain the plaza. So it seems like a good solution. And the good news, too, is they're actually pouring this plaza site right now, and we're trying to work fast enough that if we did decide to do something on the plaza, we could insert this. But this works out better in the long run. It gives Jake a little more time to work out the details of his project. So I will cease there, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, the Art Commission approved this on June 2nd. And as I mentioned, the selection panel has reviewed this and also approved this as well.
Porter, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I know it was a lot of work on a very short time frame, and I appreciate the work that you and the committee did, and I was part of initial conversations with that, and I thought the way we approached it and the way your group and the way you led us through that process was great, and great selection, and I look forward to seeing this art up and at the site. So
Thank you
it's
very much.
fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I give a lot of credit to the artist. He really knows his stuff.
Oh, boy, he does.
Local kid who's, well, I shouldn't say kid, he's a young man who's, hopefully this will lead to other opportunities
That's
for
our
him.
hope. Yeah, great. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Resolution number 30237.
Yes, Commissioners, this is consideration of fees and charges for the Lion Creek Community Center and the KC North Community Center. Ian
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Upon our review, we came up and found that there were some additional charges that were taking place at Lion Creek that we did not have before you. We've gone and clarified that. They were going down as miscellaneous charges, so we wanted to have that clarification for you. At the same time, Kansas City North has a very popular program, a judo program, that they asked us for your consideration to allow a slight discount on family members for their program, a slight discount as additional children are included or considered for the program. So.
Any questions?
No.
All right, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution
Thank
passes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yanira.
All right, resolution number 30238.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a request for an approval of agreement for 2016 STP program for the intersection of Independence and Benton. The agreement is actually with the Missouri Highway Transportation Department. We have a memo in your packet from Travis. As you can see, the federal match, which is coming through MoDOT, the local match, and then total funding. And this would be authorization to enter into this agreement there again with Missouri Highway Transportation. Travis here if you have any questions.
Any questions of Travis? It's pretty much a little bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? Very good.
Good.
All right, hearing no questions, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, this is been motion
Second.
seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30239.
Yes, Commissioners, back in April of this year, we continued our agreement with the Kansas City Library for the Ruiz Library on the west side over along West Penway. This item also came up at that time. It deals with 3 parcels of land that are under land bank right now, and this will do a quick claim deed to accept those 2 tracts and put them in the Park and Boulevard system. Again, you have a memo from Travis on that, and I also know Lana from our legal staff has also been working on this particular agreement. And Steve Abbott, I believe, is back there also.
No, that's,
So if you have any questions, I'm sure one of these 3 individuals can answer those questions.
are there any questions for any of the 3? Nope. Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30240.
Yes, Commissioner, this is a bid recommendation with Mega Industries Corporation for 2 projects out in the Marble area. One is picnic shelter and improvements in the park, and the other one is for a parking lot adjacent to the Marlboro Community Center. There again, Mega is the recommended contractor. Total cost for all the work involved, $475,100. If you have any questions, Travis is here to answer those.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30241.
Yes, Commissioners, this is amendment number 2, Soccer Village Properties contract. This is for supporting KC and their grand construction team that is building our soccer village. We touched on that earlier, of course, with the artwork that was presented by Porter Arneal. This will be for 2 things. One is security cameras and the cabling to go along with them, so they're all connected up and read properly back to central security. And the other one is for a press box. Significance of the press box is to allow for championship play. I recall we had the Women's Big 12 Championship back last fall. They had to rent a press box, so this will be a permanent press box. And of course, it can be used on numerous occasions for other competitive soccer. And then, of course, the security cameras. If you have any questions, Travis is here. As you can also see in the memo, the goals were set from HDR for NBWB participation. Contract total is $450,000.
Any questions, Travis? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30243.
Yes, Commissioner, this is amendment number 2 with the firm of Cohen and Partners. This is a continuation of work for Washington Square Park. We have another PIAC allocation, and we're hoping to get a little bit of money from Downtown Council on this one, too.
Yep.
And that question is on the table, I believe. Heather, is that correct? But the important thing is it continues the design forward, and also working with our partners and the adjacent businesses around Washington Square Park. I will also mention quickly, the team will be in town the week of the 23rd. If anyone have any discussions, I think Heather's going to have some schedules out to talk about that. But in the meantime, we want to get forward on the design and the extension of their contract, so we'd recommend approval. And if you have any questions, Heather is our project manager.
Any questions on this one?
It's exciting.
Yeah, this is an exciting plan.
All the stuff going on down there, it's going to be good.
This is very good. Okay, with that, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
This is motion
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Anybody opposed? You okay? You're with it? All right, just want to make sure. Resolution number 30244.
Don't push the hot buttons, you're going to get in trouble.
30244, the next one.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner, this is amendment number 5, Bowman, and Novick for Cleaver Boulevard streetscape. Time only. The project's probably 99% complete. We need to do a few little punch list items. And then we also have Heidi working on scheduling a ribbon cutting for this project. And that'll be coming up sometime between now and August 31st. Is that correct, Heidi? So that's the scope of this. No money involved, time only.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30245.
Yes, Commissioners, this is amendment number 4 with the Brockton Company, one that Heidi is carrying forward. As I think we're all aware, July is National Parks and Recreation Month, and we have a whole lot of good stuff going on in July. Is that right, Heidi?
Yes, July is the best month out of the year, of course, National Parks and Recreation Month. And this amendment to the Brockton's contract is basically to allow them to purchase some online advertising, some billboards, and some promotional items for us to use during our marketing campaign, which goes from July 1st through July the 31st. We're with the goal of increasing awareness of Kansas City parks, of course, enhancing our image and brand, and then engaging our residents and the community in a lot of ways so that they can understand the breadth and depth of what it is that Kansas City Parks and Recreation is. So we plan to do a couple of billboards again, high visibility areas. We had a lot of great results, social media-wise, particularly last year, and a lot of great response to what we did. So we're kind of amping it up again this year. Took advantage of the National Parks and Recreation's Association, or National Parks and Recreation Association's month's slogan of "Out is In" for this year's National Parks and Recreation Month, and we recreated the artwork so it works within our brand and kind of modified ours a little bit, took it to the next level. So the theme for the month is "Out and In," and that has to do with encouraging residents to get outside, get inspired, change their outlook, get involved. So it's playing on both of those words. So you'll see here the mock-up for the 2 billboards. Behind that is the National Parks and Recreation Month calendar of events. It's not populated yet here. It will be on our website. And last year we did a new adventure every day. This year we're doing a new outing every day. And we will blast social media every day with something different to do that involves a different area of Parks and Recreation. The following 2 pages show what each of those outings will be for the entire month. And if you do recall, we did a program called Park It Forward as well, where we sent interns out to the outing or adventure, and they rewarded people, took their pictures, sent it out. So it's a big whole process, but it got us a lot of a lot of interest and a lot of activity on our website, and particularly last year, which is, you know, what we're trying to do. You'll see also here is artwork for banners that will go up at our major facilities, and then a sample here of the banner ads that will be on social media, on various internet sites, various websites. They are animated, so it's hard to get the full picture here, but the icons kind of roll in when you click on the page, so it'll be pretty cool. And then behind that is just some samples and ideas of some of the promotional items that we'll have that we'll be giving away to promote the Parks and Recreation Month, as well as items that will reward people for doing the Park It Forward daily outing.
What a great list.
Thank you. It's a fun campaign. It's exhausting, but it's really fun.
You don't look tired.
Yeah, you know what? It hasn't started. Well, I guess all this, but.
Are you still advertising on a bus?
The bus is still out there.
Okay.
Yes.
So the wrap last year.
Yeah, it is, and I'm hoping to be able to extend that. What's kind of funny is that's always been an option for different city departments to be able to wrap that bus for a reduced fee, just the actual pay for the artwork. And nobody ever took advantage of it. I mean, the bike walk people did, but then they finally ran out of money, I guess, and so she gave it to me, and now people really saw it, and think it's a great, you know, marketing activity, and so kind of the other departments are wanting to get in on it. So I may not be able to keep it much longer. However, we have our own bus. Is that right? Or we're getting our own bus.
We're getting our own bus.
For the department,
Yes.
and we have several designs that we will have for it as well. And we're going to wrap it.
We're gonna make it look like-
We're going to wrap it with our icons.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we are our own bus.
Best of luck on this
Which is an electric bus.
So that one we can just
It's an
drive
electric
around
bus.
and around and around. We can control the routes and everything.
People love, drop them off at a park, pick them back up. All right. Very good.
Yeah, because you never quite know where that KC Parks bus is going to be, which is pretty cool. They send it out on a different route every day, so it hits the entire city. But it's pretty exciting when you see it, because there's only one out there.
Very much.
On the 21st Century Parkway the other day.
Do you know where the billboards are going to be?
Yes, we have one at Southwest Traffic Way and 25th facing south. It's really, these are like apparently better locations than we had last year. It's hard for me to envision it as well. But 300,000 impressions a day is what that one gets. And then the other one's on I-70 at Truman, when people are heading in downtown.
Okay.
So,
Nothing coming in from the north.
sorry, we can only do two. Maybe
We'll
not.
send the bus up.
We'll send the bus and drive it up north of the river. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it up there.
Let's park it there on the Broadway Bridge.
Just leave it there. Exactly. All right. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to the contract?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Very good. Resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution number 30246.
Yes, Commissioners, Travis is walking this way, and I'm going to let him explain this. I know we've got a team here from MoDOT that's been sitting here patiently, Matt and his group, and Hope and others, so I trust that's why you're all here today for this. So, okay. Travis,
Absolutely.
introduce our guest from MoDOT and explain to the board what this 4F is all about.
All right, we'll have Matt Killian with MoDOT handing out a stack of information there to cover the, actually, more of the I-70 project itself. The thing before the commission today is just permission for the director to sign the 4F letter. That's the de minimis letter for where this I-70 route crosses three of our boulevards within the system. So with us today, we have Matt Killian with MoDOT. We have Alan Zaff and Hope Visconti. So, Matt, with that, you want to go ahead and...
Very good. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Matt Killian. I'm an area engineer for MoDOT. I'm here to talk about our I-70 second tier EIS, which is an environmental study we've been doing for about 2.5 years on I-70 from Paseo to just east of Blue Ridge Cutoff. So this is an environmental study, looks at future improvements to I-70, and we've gone through several alternatives. We started with 12, went down to 3, and then what we're here to talk to you today about is what we call our preferred alternative. So this is our final recommendation, and we've gone through significant public outreach and got a lot of public input on what kind of improvements are needed to I-70. and we think we've come up with a good solution that meets the community's needs and also allows for things like reduced congestion and additional transit and bike and pedestrian traffic across I-70. So before you have the handout of the preferred alternative, and let's see, looks like this. So I know there's a lot of information on the sheet, but just to summarize, what we propose with our preferred alternative is we're making improvements to the interstate ramps where they tie to the cross streets, and we're increasing the distance you have to merge on and off the highway, and to do that safely. So if you drive the corridor, you know the distance you have to merge on and off the highway is short, results in some safety concerns, and also creates congestion. So we also improved the Jackson and Benton curves. You'll notice some additional safety improvements there, and also improves that bicycle and pedestrian access across I-70. So we're trying to remove that barrier, so to speak, of I-70 to bike and pedestrian access. So as Travis mentioned, the real reason we're here is to talk about the de minimis impact letter associated with the project and with the actual preferred alternative. So the three boulevards cross the study area at Paseo, Van Brunt, and at Benton. So in your packet, you'll have kind of blow-ups of each interchange and what the preferred alternative is doing at those locations. So, and really, it's protected under Section 4F as a park or recreational facility or a historic site. So, if you'll notice at Paseo, we'll start there. Really, the improvements will push out the angle of the ramps as they tie to Paseo. So really at that location, all we're looking at is some temporary construction impacts that would that might affect traffic on the Paseo, or details of how the sidewalk ties to the ramp and crosses the ramp. The next location is similar, but at Benton, the preferred alternative will actually replace the Benton Boulevard Bridge, and the bridge will be placed on fill. So you'll notice the two directions of I-70 are kind of pushed together. The median is closed, so there will be a pretty good change to how Benton crosses I-70, but we'll still have the same number of lanes on Benton, and it'll have access both north and south. And you'll notice there's a new ramp that'll be connected with the ramp from Truman Road and Benton. So there will be an additional at-grade intersection with how you get onto I-70 westbound at that location. So in addition, with this alternative, there's additional green space that's created because we are closing that median and pushing all lanes of I-70 south. So that's an additional improvement that's included in the alternative. And then finally, at Van Brunt, similar to Paseo, how the ramps tie to Van Brunt will be affected by temporary construction and those types of impacts. So, so throughout our process, we've tried to minimize the impact to the park system and to the boulevards, and really haven't adversely affected anything, we feel. So, and that's the reason we're asking for the letter today. And we've taken measures to minimize those impacts, like I said, and they're temporary in nature. So it won't affect the park's features or attributes that actually qualify them as historic property or protected under the 4F. So. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions, and the timelines there on the last slide. Like I mentioned, we started in December 2011, and we're looking to deliver a final EIS in 2014 and then ultimately our record of decision in February of next year. So that's our timeline and goal.
So when is this work planning to be done? And is there funding for this right now?
There's no funding for the actual construction improvements, but the environmental work is an important piece in order to be able to do that. So,
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions, comments? No, thank you. Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Alan.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
There's a motion
Second.
and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30247 regarding the approval of gifts and contributions.
Yes, Commissioners, 2 gifts, as indicated in the memo, recommend acceptance of both.
All right, is there a motion to accept the gifts?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody else? All right, all right, everybody, good. All right, just want to make sure we got at least 3.
Definitely.
There you go. All right. Motion passes. Any opposed? I don't. All right, very good. Directors' reports.
Yes, Commissioners, first item, you have a short memo. The Port Authority, who manages, of course, Berkeley Park, has asked us to consider the naming of the extension of Grand Boulevard from the viaduct, which comes right out of the River Market area on over to the Kit Bond Bridge, to name that section of Grand Boulevard for former Mayor Berkeley. And that's the request before us. If the board is supportive of that, we would come back at a later date with a resolution.
So where exactly does it?
Grand Boulevard, of course, for the most part, runs north-south, and then there's a viaduct right there in the River Market that
Comes
goes.
around.
Comes underneath
Okay.
them.
So-
Under the old.
That goes by the
bridge.
park.
Goes by the
Yeah.
park. So it's,
So it would start with that, where
Right.
it goes up in the air.
right, and then when it comes down, it's going to be pointing due east at that location.
Right.
And then the section that was built recently from there, going due east over to the base of the Bond Bridge, which is the south end of the Bond Bridge.
That's
So
the
it's that
south
whole-
loop.
whole side,
South
yeah.
Loop's a good way to describe it.
Okay.
Runs parallel to the park.
Yep.
I think it sounds good.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So what we would do then, Carmen would work on a resolution for your consideration.
Yep, makes a lot of
Sounds
sense.
good.
Great.
Major construction, Travis?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Again, you have a memo in front of you there on Soccer Village. You heard a lot about Soccer Village today, about the art going on down there, about the amendment to the contract for the security and the press box and so forth. So it would be a good idea to show you a little bit about what's going on down there with Phase 2. So with the help of our contractor on site there, Grand Construction, they have one of those GoPro cameras and an aerial apparatus that they're able to take shots like this across the site of the fields and so forth. So that first shot down there, you're looking at the future parking lot that's adjacent to the existing parking lot for the training facility. Looking north, you can see 63rd Street in the background, and that's Field 5 there. And the next shot, you're looking to the south, so you can see where the base material for the synthetic turf fields have been put down. You can see the curbing all the way around there for fields 4 and 3. And then in the background, you can see the parking lot and where fields 2 and 1 have been graded out and prepped and ready to roll. Then in that final shot, you can see what these new concession buildings look like. These are the existing shelters that were on the site out there. So they use existing footprint, existing roof structure, and modified the entire interior of that to upgrade the restrooms and put in a storage room and have a concession room on the end of what was the shelter. And you can see with the stone and the brick that was used, they try to tie that in to what was used on the training facility, so the entire site ties together.
That's pretty neat that they were able to do that with those existing.
That's a nice adaptation of that, yeah. Looks good.
Any questions?
Great stuff.
And I think we may have spoke about it before, this project is scheduled to be complete by the end of the summer.
By Labor Day.
Yep. So that way Brookside and other soccer games could be going on down there in the fall. Thanks.
There's soccer going on?
There will be, just a little bit somewhere. Brazil.
They'll be playing the World Cup down here next year.
Exactly, well, that's a hope. 4 years from now.
4 years from, 4 years. 4 years from now, okay, all right. Every 4 years. There you go. All right, Heidi, what do you got?
I'm going to make this really short. You'll see on your report there that I have the web analytics, and that's actually from May. I think I incorrectly labeled it April. But of course, we had another record-breaking month for visits to our website and people actually doing something when they come to the website with conversion rate at about 10%. They're either filling out a event request or film request form. They're clicking onto WebTrack to sign up for a class. They're downloading the Summer Fun Guide. And also clicking on the season pass to make those purchases for our pools. So those are kind of the top things people are doing when they come to our website. They're being referred from, of course, the city's website, kcmo.gov, Facebook, and then KC Parent is really big up there. It's the third biggest referral site for us. So we are targeting them as part of our National Parks and Recreation campaign as well, with an e-blast through them. This last weekend was super busy for all of us. I hope you were able to get out and enjoy some of the activities that we had going on. We had the dragon boat races. I'm happy to say that we did place, but it was second this year. I'd like to thank Heather for captaining the ship and the dragon boat racing team, the Blazing Paddles. But it was a beautiful day for the dragon boat races. We also had the Flag Day retirement ceremony going on in Washington Square Park that day. We had a kids fishing derby, and then just various outreach activities and expos I think that staff attended around the city. And then Sunday morning, of course, when I wake up to pouring down rain and thunder, we had our bicycle ride the fountains. And although it did clear up by the time the riders went out, it did affect our attendance a bit, but it ended up being a beautiful day, and we had a great after party, and that, of course, is at Union Station and goes to support the City of Fountains Foundation as well as our trails. And some of the upcoming things, obviously, we said we have the Roanoke Park Playground Celebration this Saturday, late afternoon. The following weekend, there's the Garrison 100th anniversary celebration of that community center. And then, of course, we get into the Parks and Rec month. We have a couple of big events, two really major events in July. One is the opening of the Choteau Traffic Way ribbon cutting that happens in conjunction with the Northland Neighborhoods Hot Trot. And then our big celebration this year, as you recall, we used to do Party in the Park here in Swope Park. We've kind of mixed it up a bit, and this year we're going to do Kansas City's Big Picnic in partnership with the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Donald J. Hall Sculpture Park. If any of you are members of that museum, they sent out these magnets that list all the activities they're doing to celebrate their sculpture park this summer, and the July event is Picnic in the Park on Sunday, July 20th from 5 to 8, and it says in partnership with KC Parks and Rec. So we're on refrigerator magnets all over the city. So they've been fun to work with, and we're looking forward to that big celebration and event. That's it. Oh, Shakespeare Festival in Southmoreland Park starts tonight. Sorry.
It does, yeah. It's
Can
been
I
great
ask
for us,
whose
too.
Puggle is in the park? Is it your Puggle?
Yes.
Oh, Harley.
That's really great. He's
Thank
cute.
you. She's getting a lot of
Harley,
people looking for her, yeah, or following her. It's one of our most
Where's Harley?
hashtag Puggle in the Park.
Okay.
Very good. All right, ready for public hearing and calendar.
Yes, just quickly covered a couple of special events. I will mention next Tuesday, we have a public forum as part of our strategic planning effort up here at the Southeast Community Center. We sent
Yes, I saw
out
that.
an email blast on
Yep.
that. Heidi and Steve Abbott are working on that. I think we're getting quite a bit of response on that. And that's the public forum. And then on that day, during the day, the 24th, and the following day, the 25th, we're going to have some focus groups. We sent out several letters to our stakeholder organizations, some of which you saw in the room earlier today when we were talking about water fire and talking about Roanoke Park and others. And so those will be groups of 5 or 6 folks, I think, working together in some focus groups. And so that'll happen on the 2 days, during the day, and then the evening event will be on the 24th in relationship to the strategic plan for the department. I'm going on vacation the following day, the 25th. And then I'll be back that second week in July. Terry, of course, will be here in my absence. Also, I will mention the PIAC calendar is out. I know, talked to Commissioner Judy. I know the 24th you were going to go, I believe, to a PIAC hearing, and I think Carmen has sent that out on prior occasions. So there's, a dozen of those throughout the summer months. And if you want to go to any, you're obviously more than welcome to go. It's always good to hear about what some of the community has to say about our park needs, and we always have staff there too. So anyway, that's throughout the months of June and July, and then the citywide hearings are in the month of August. And then as we get into the month of July, we're back here on the 15th, and then the following board meeting in July. So anyway, summer starts and summer goes quickly.
Well, it does, yes. Okay.
That's it.
Great. Well, thank you all. With that, meeting is adjourned.
You need to touch base?